Hello, everyone. I'm Karissa Dunham from Shining Light on Minnesota. Today, we have a very special guest with us, Erik Haugen. Welcome, Erik.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yes. So let's start off telling everybody a little bit about prop and how you got into the coaching.
Yeah, no, thanks. It's I grew up with a interesting background
Yeah.
from ministry to full cycle 100% commission sales, and then got into the corporate realms and realized that I have a skill of simplification and curiosity. And after climbing the ranks with Sleep Number and going through a layoff back in 2023, had the opportunity to go and just help some companies on a 1099 basis, stepped in, identified some opportunities, did some training, and realized I really enjoyed it. And it's so cool when you can work with more entrepreneurial, smaller businesses, the true impact you can have. And so that's what sparked my interest to say, I've kind of climbed the ladder corporate wise, and I don't want to do that again.
Right.
And it's so that it opened up the door. I was very blessed to have some clients come to me right off the bat that were, had seen my work or I'd done good work for them. And they said, hey, can you come do it here?
Yep.
And it started as I'm just helping some people out to filing my LLC and starting a business. But if the right thing came along,
Maybe.
it'd have to be everything. And then suddenly that right thing with everything came along.
Amazing.
And we were coming into the offer for it. And my wife and I woke up that morning and said, it's time to bet on prop. It's time to go all in. And I did. And I think that was the week that I finished my website. I launched it. I went live on LinkedIn. It was middle to end of March 2024.
Wow.
So I've been doing this about 1.5 years now, but officially out to the world projecting was March 2024.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's a big step and a big process. I mean, especially going from the retail business or the corporate America to owning your own business. Tell everybody a little bit about taking a step back, corporate America, how that kind of led up to it.
Yeah, it's a great question. I grew up seeing a very linear path.
Yes.
It was a different time and place. I look at my grandpa and his career post-military was at Honeywell, and that's where he retired from. My dad graduated from the U of M as an architect, went to work for 3M right out of college. And he won't ever claim to retiring, but he graduated from 3M. And that's what I was exposed to. And that was the measure of success. And so as I had felt like I had achieved that in the corporate realm, and then seen the layoff coming and frankly positioned myself to be the one laid off so I could save the team.
Yep.
I sat down with my uncle, who has been a serial entrepreneur, has been very successful, has built businesses and done great things. He sat me down and said, what you think security is not what security is.
Right.
And he explained to me his path. And through that, and then going through a coaching certification program where I got coaching of my own, really opened up my eyes of, hey, I was very successful in this realm, and it's not for me. and that was very freeing for me, and to realize that and to find the impact in the small to mid-sized entrepreneurial businesses has been it's been so much fun. It's been challenging in and of itself.
For sure.
I told my wife the first couple months out of corporate, I had this whole decorporatization that had to go through. I actually identified that every request I made of my kids, who are 8, 10, and 12, was followed with the word quickly.
Yep.
And I had to, come on,
get it done.
Get dressed quickly, eat breakfast quickly, got to get the bus quickly.
Got to get out the door. Yep.
And I looked at myself, I said, there's really nothing that needs to be done that quickly.
Right.
I mean, our kids' school is less than or maybe a mile from our house. So you miss the bus, I'll take you.
Yep.
So that the level of urgency. So that shift was actually really healthy for me, coming from, 7 years of being on airplanes and going out and being the guy that went and did.
In the grind.
And it's in the grind. So it's been really good.
Well, it's interesting. Even when you're driving down the road, you're seeing all these people that are in a hurry to get nowhere fast. Like we're going to get everywhere at the same time. Like, what's the rush? I mean, I obviously am, you go and go and go and you do a lot of things, but at the same time you have to be in the moment and you have to be present. And a lot of times even when you are doing things, you have to be intentional and you have to really try to take a step back and be like, okay, let's stop and let's be here. Let's do this.
I couldn't agree more. About a little over a year ago, as I was in my ICF coaching program through Learning Journeys, I went through a process of coaching and creating an intention of where I would be in a year. And I remember my intention began as I'm a successful business owner who's proud of the balance I found in business and in life while providing undeniable value for my clients.
Yep.
Great intention, right? It
Right.
felt good.
Awesome.
It was very focused. Over the span of the next 6 months, it was refined, and it turned into, my intention is I am present in everything I do.
Yep.
And that's been a guiding light for me that's been very, very impactful and has brought so much joy.
Well, which is, I mean, even with what I do and with what everybody does, you get in a set or in a process and you start seeing people all the time, and people start seeing you and they start knowing you, but I've seen you twice, I've seen you 3 times, I still don't remember your name. So how can you be more intentional? How can you get to know people more? How can you take a step back and really be like, hey, how are the kids? How was your day? How did that meeting go? Like really start to know them or get to know them on a different level so you can understand.
Absolutely. I've always said in sales, people don't buy from companies.
Absolutely
They
not.
don't buy products. They buy from people they know, like, and trust.
Yep.
And if you're focused on making a sale, they may buy, they may not. In reality, focus on the relationship. Focus on the person in front of you.
Yep.
They are what matters, because without them, your product, no matter how great it is, doesn't matter.
Well, service is senior to sales, and the people are senior to sales, and just getting to know a person helps a lot more. What do you think is important for small businesses and starting and all the coaching? What do you tell people when they're getting out there and just starting to start up or try new things?
Yeah, great question. For any client I work with, there is an element of discovery. I teach this in sales training as well.
Yep.
There is a discovery process to go through to dream about what is next.
Right.
Well, tying that back to the why and understanding emotion leads to action.
Yep.
Before somebody seeks to take that next step, whether it's in their business, in relationships, in life, there has to be a triggering moment, some sort of inspiration that says, I need to change the course of what I'm doing. There's an opportunity for something more.
Yep.
If what's next isn't tied to that, it's going to be a flash in the pan.
Right.
And I think that's where a lot of clients come to me, and they've tried, hey, we've built this business, we've kind of plateaued, we're at a good spot, so we're just going to hire a sales manager. Oh, we're just going to hire a salesperson. More equals more, right?
Right.
When in reality, they haven't taken the time to step back and understand, like, what are they going towards? Why does it matter? And more importantly, what has gotten us to this point? What are the winning behaviors that we can structure to take to make the next person successful?
Right. Do you think it's more of a growth mindset, or do you think it's more of a driven because of your why?
I think it's a both and.
Both? Yep.
It is a driven and grounded in that why, because if that why is gone, it doesn't matter how good the application is. It's once you've established, grounded in that why and where you want it to take you, then getting very specific to draw up. You're like, you come in, you just bring the sales plan, right? Can you give us a playbook? We'll execute. It's like, well, I can tell you what I think, but you know your business better than I'm ever going to know it.
Right.
So what I'd prefer to do is come in and watch you, ask questions, gather details, and be that curious simplifier. People are like, what's your superpower? You're good. I'm like, well, I'm not that smart. I'm just really curious. And the way my brain works, I can simplify it so you can teach it at a 4th grade level.
Absolutely.
That's where I find the real magic happens, because suddenly you have something that is executable in a simplified way that makes it easy for the person to be successful. And then for you as the leader to be successful in knowing how to communicate expectations and hold accountable.
For sure.
The world of sales, if you boil it down, the job of a salesperson is to make it easy for your customer, client, person in front of you
Laid out.
to say yes to your product, solution, or service today.
Yep.
So as a leader, shouldn't our job be to put in tools, solutions, processes that make it easy for them?
Absolutely.
If it's making it hard, it's got to go.
Right. So who have been some of your mentors obviously you've talked about a couple of them getting to where you are today, but also in getting into like in your past that have gotten you to where you are today?
that goes deep. And that goes back far.
Yeah.
Actually, when I pose this often when I'm doing trainings in front of large groups, is who's been that person, whether it's a relative, a coach, a pastor, defining moment, like that just got you to do something that others couldn't.
Pushed you outside that limit, or pushed you outside the box, or made you think differently.
100%. I think for me, I was very fortunate to have a lot of those along my life. The one that stands out as an early age, I think of my 10th grade basketball coach, Coach DePerry. I grew up in St. Paul, played for Highland Park High School.
Nice.
My sophomore year, I was on JV. Our varsity won state.
Awesome.
Huge, fun experience. I was part of the team. I was the mascot
Yep.
for state.
Fun.
Wasn't quite good enough as a 10th grader.
Did you have to jump
out.
off the trampoline and do fun stuff at halftime?
Oh gosh, I would probably
stuff?
injure myself if I did. But I remember Coach DePerry was one of those coaches that demanded so much of you. And let you know it was because he saw the value in you and what you would do. And so if you weren't bought into that, you probably feel like he wasn't a great coach.
Right.
But because we saw that value, because of what he did, because of how much he poured into us, and he demanded this excellence, anybody on that state team, even though Coach DePerry was our JV coach, we'll give him some of the credit because of how he drove them, how his presence at practice drove. And it brought this mentality for me that went through. Very fortunate to have a dad that coached me, a mom who was present, also ministry minded, ran a mission preschool down in the Phillips neighborhood, and seeing some of the stuff she went through and the whole mentality of never backing down.
Correct.
So I feel very fortunate in that light, and then to be surrounded with great friends and relatives and family that have come around me throughout my life.
Would you say your defining moment in your life has probably been like the layoff, or do you think that there have been a couple of them?
I think the layoff wasn't as much defining for me. I was ready for it, and I knew it. In fact, for the 6 months leading up to, my wife and I had this constant conversation of, okay, I'm ready for something that's next. I've done the rat race. I've flown. I mean, in 2019, I was on 52 flights in a year, and it was way too much. And if I wanted that next step that was being laid out for me from a corporate standpoint, it was going to elevate the amount of travel. And I knew that's not what I wanted.
Right.
And so I think the defining moment for me was the realization of this path that I'm on, that I'm consistently getting rewarded for, recognized for, that I'm being flown to President's Circle and sharing the stage with the president and CEO, and like these things that I've been working towards.
Where you're at.
I got it, and I realized it's not where I wanted to be. I think that was the defining moment for me. I'm fairly risk averse, so even though my wife Jillian and I had conversations of, hey, wouldn't it be great if we could figure out a way to just work for ourselves? What could that look like? But at the same time, you're being rewarded, you're moving forward. And so for me, it was that knowing there was something else. And then for me, the layoff was a catalyst, and just this opportunity to say, hey,
pushing you a little bit more out there,
pushed me out to do it, and frankly funded it. And that was the huge, as we backed into it and looked and said, okay, I'm going all in. This is the 3-year plan. Here's what we need to do. Here are the goals. Here's how I'm going to do it. And here I am a year and a half later, and I'm doing it.
So what have you pushed or tried new in the last year and a half that have gotten you to where you are today?
Yeah, great question. The first 4 or 5 months, I leaned into all the relationships I had, and I was getting 7 to 12 conversations every single week with VP C-suite at large companies. I came from executive search prior to Sleep Number, was a headhunter, and hustled and built a network, and was very fortunate to have the relationships already there.
Absolutely.
So I came out of the gates, and just these were all the conversations. And in every conversation, I noticed that they all had needs. They all had gaps they were trying to fill. But there was a shift happening in corporate America for the actual ability to add headcount in those spaces. And so I honestly went about 4 or 5 months with the business that had already come in, with this big business mindset, and hearing I have need, I don't have headcount, or I have budget, it shifted my questions I asked, even
for sure.
From do you have a job to what's something that if I could take off your plate would free you up to do what really matters.
Yep. Keep you in your lane and do your passion. Yep.
Absolutely. And that shifted both from how I asked the question, but also where I focused. Because in the large companies, they're not going to hire a one-man person to come in and do something large. They're more bringing in a Big Five consultant, coming in with a team, Ivy League, well-dressed, go through the numbers.
Type. Let's get in there and do it. Yes.
Let's get in there, look at the numbers, and tell you where you're wrong and what you need to change.
What your numbers are, yes.
And that's not me. I'm the curious consultant. And it works to come alongside founders, owners, helping them evolve beyond themselves, whether it's because they want to have that next level or they're getting to a point where they're looking at exit strategy and realize their business doesn't have a real valuation without them in the seat.
Right.
And so I think that was a defining moment and a shift for me in who I am, what I bring to the table, and why does it matter? So who is my customer? It's not the Cargills and the Targets, and it's much smaller, and
it's the small business America, yes.
And I love it.
Yep.
It's just the heart and soul.
There's so many of those mom and pops out there, and the startups and the exit strategies that just still aren't sure where they are, or what they are going, or what they're doing out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have been in business for a year and a half, and you have some growth going on. How has your mind shift changed from corporate America to COO, and your stress has changed a little bit now?
Yeah. Well, I don't check my email as much.
Yep.
Which was a good shift.
Yep.
I've had to get good at setting boundaries. When I'm doing client work, knowing myself, I'm an all or nothing. I'm a competitive. I go.
Yeah.
I'm a doer.
Yep.
I've got a bad case of GSD and was told that at a young age, and that's good.
That's a good problem to have.
It's a good problem to have. So it's setting the right boundaries, setting the right expectations. I know I'm not going to come in and be all things to all people.
Right.
And that's not my job.
And you're okay. That's perfectly fine. Yep.
That's perfectly fine. I'm also become much more aware of where my strengths and opportunities are, which allows me to focus on, I'm coming in to fill this need because I've gotten really good at this.
Yep.
And being intentional about what's in scope, what's out of scope. I think about where I was little over a year ago.
Yep.
One of the best things to happen to me was to have a big contract on the table, my first big one.
Oh boy.
It's describing everything. I put together my curious consult process, the 4D approach, and I had conceptualized and had all this in. I'd done parts and pieces, but this was the first time to do it and make it shine.
Yep.
And I had a client come to me, and as we're getting ready to start, I'm digging in more of my initial kind of dream session discovery, and came to the realization that they actually aren't ready for me.
Right.
Their biggest gap was more on the branding and marketing side, because they were this kind of combination of multiple brands. They were trying to grow, and they thought sales was their issue.
Yep.
Well, in the initial...
They just needed to hone it in a little bit.
Yes. Yeah. And so instead of the initial discovery leading into the big contract, it was actually me having to say, you guys aren't ready for me, and this is actually your gap.
Yep.
This will come, and that's fine. But for right now, you're going to be better served long-term if you do this. And,
absolutely.
And they did. And it actually solved the problems and the gaps for what they need right now.
Nice.
I've been able to do some smaller coaching with them and move along. And I think had I said yes to that for everything I described I wanted,
you wouldn't have been in your lane.
Wouldn't have been my lane. I would not have been successful.
Right.
And it would have taken so much more stress and pressure for me.
For sure.
And not allowed me to build the business that's true to who I am and the skills I bring to the table.
So it's obviously important that you have collaborations with other people too, to try to be able to stay in your lane and know where you're good at and know the lanes where you're not, so you can be able to shut that off and be like, okay, here, this isn't my lane. You handle it, do your job, and I'll do mine.
Yes.
Yes. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, the fun thing is I've also realized there's so many other individuals like myself who have built their lane in the different verticals.
Yep.
And I look at it now as I'm choosing my coworkers.
Yeah.
and building this network and community. So as I'm looking to the right and the left and trying to see more holistically what are the needs, where's the support. At the end of the day, how are we going to make you as a business owner, business leader, and driver the most successful? I'm not the hero of the story.
Right.
You think about the hero's narrative as it's told through Hollywood. I can never be the Batman.
No.
The owner, the leader, the business is the Batman. I'm more the Alfred.
Right.
I'm in the back. I'm the trusted guide. I'm never going to be out in front of the battle. I'm going to make sure Batman's successful.
For sure. Well, we all grow and we grow together. And
Yes.
that's kind of the whole little puzzle piece, right? We all have to do it together. It's not just the one-man shop. It's everybody kind of putting all their work in to make it happen.
Yeah, I love that.
So you're also a dad and a basketball coach and do a lot of sporting things. Tell everybody a little bit about that.
Oh man, I love this season of life. As I said, my kids are 8, 10, and 12.
Yep.
I grew up in basketball. My dad was my coach. I played all the way into college, and by play in college, I mean it was D3, and I was probably on a trainer's table more than I was on the court.
Right.
It was realization that my NBA dreams were not going to make it at that point.
And most aren't, but you still play and do it, right?
Yeah, I was an NCAA athlete.
Yep.
I can always hold that. Although my wife was a D1 athlete, so she always holds that over my head. But I'm in such a fun season with the kids. I still remember when my daughter, who's my oldest, started first grade basketball. I was still traveling a lot for work, and I did not put my hat in the ring or to be able to be a coach.
Right.
And yet I was at every practice, and I was sitting there, I was watching, and
you start to kind of like, your mind's going, you're like kind of coaching on the side as a parent. You're like,
Well, and for me, Chris, my top two strengths are strategic and arranger.
Yes.
And having, like, right out of college, I was a youth pastor for 7 years. So I understand youth psychology and just how being that positive influence and getting them focused on what's next. Like, there's all those pieces. And I finally had to raise my hand and help out with some stuff. And then
there's so much negativity in the world as it is.
And
so much tearing down, and so much, especially with social media, everything else that's out there. It's just too much negativity. The more positivity and happiness and just encouragement that's out there, especially in young to old, the more that's going to get done. Even in our age and in work and everything else, the more working together and happy. I don't know how else to word it, but everything else gets done. Yes.
Well, and there's been a huge shift since our day of sports.
Yeah.
When I look at like travel basketball, and that's where I coach. We're up in Osseo Maple Grove Basketball Association. Back in my day,
Bobby Knight, like that's, I mean, it's
completely different, but it didn't start until probably 7th grade.
Yep.
Now travel's starting hot and heavy, 4th, now 3rd grade. There's 2nd graders playing up.
Yep. And it's big travel.
It's big.
It's state. It's could be going to other countries if need be.
Yeah. And
here I'm like traveling Twin Cities areas and things like that. Yes. Yep.
So instead of focusing on 2 to 3 practices a week, focus on development fundamentals, it's that and a tournament every weekend versus just your few practices and one game.
Yep.
And there's a lot more that takes place now for coaching the head and the heart at this age than the actual skill, because the games, you can get so caught up in the moment and the competition and the rivalries, because even if you don't think they exist in 4th grade.
For sure.
It's pretty intense. So I guess that's been the joy for me. I'm the coach that comes in, and the two things that I say you can control are your attitude and effort.
Yep.
Skills will come, shots will either go in or they don't.
Yep.
I think it was Michael Jordan. I'm a huge Jordan fan.
Yep, I am too, so we're good.
Good.
Yep.
And he says, people talk about the pressure of taking a shot. It's like, why is there pressure to it? Like, one of two things happen. You make it or you miss it, but the ball keeps bouncing, you keep going on. And it's the Ted Lasso, be a goldfish.
Yes.
You got to move on. And so I try to teach a lot of fundamentals, a lot of skills. I am competitive as can be.
Yep.
So it's this balance. Manage your attitude and effort. Those are the only things you can control. Yep. And then the themes of loud teams win more. So if you're in the game, you're loud, you're moving, it tells me you've got energy, you need to be out there. If you get quiet, you need to come out. Yep. If you're on the bench and you are engaged, you're loud, you're cheering, it tells me you're ready to go back in.
Absolutely.
So as a fourth grader, when you're loud, you can't get in your head.
Nope.
Doesn't matter if the other team's dominating you or if you miss that shot, you're focused on the cheering now. So number one, loud teams win more.
Yep.
And number two, basketball is a game of runs.
Yep.
Okay, great. That team went on the run.
Yep.
It's our turn.
Yep.
Let's go do it. Let's extend it. Let's flush that. It's done. Let's move forward.
Yep.
So Absolutely. It's fun.
Easy. Yep. It's fun. It is fun, and you keep it going. You work as a team. You stay as a team. You leave as a team. You know, it's one of those. It's a lifelong thing. When kids, you see them sitting at home doing their games, I'm like, just go outside, play, have a pickup game, play baseball in our backyard, go play basketball, get out and do something. You know, I don't care what you do, just do something. Get out there and be active. Like,
get off your screens.
Have a sandlot game in our backyard. If you want me to go out there and play one-on-one with you, let's go. Like, I'm gonna do it. Let's go to the gym, do something. I don't care.
Get active, get sweaty, get dirty, go like get hurt. Like, it's okay.
Please do. Like, I'm gonna be the only girl out there with all the boys. Let's go do it. I don't care if you're the youngest little one. It's going to teach you a lot in life.
Yes.
Yep. Kids have changed. Life has changed. What do you think's going to be next for a prop, and where do you think work's going to take you next?
Oh man. So right now I'm in a sweet spot of working with the right level of clients, helping be that support, that curious simplifier. I see that being the course here for the next couple years. I've built process in what I do, in how I drive curiosity, as well as the way with which I think sales methodology wise. I don't have a do these 7 steps and you're going to be successful. Like, I don't believe that exists because there are elements to it. There are soft skills, but the process is so much different in comparison to like your business,
Every
your
business
goals.
is different. Yep.
So I'm in the trenches doing that right now. At the same time, I'm gathering that information. I got great advice from a mentor through the SCORE program. They provide mentors to entrepreneurs and those that have done it. And he challenged me to leverage every client as a case study. Capture the information and we pull together to be able to create some intellectual property for future state. So to your question, I'm a year and a half in.
Right.
I'm to the point where I thought it would take 3 years to get to.
Which is good. Yep.
Feels great.
You're learning, you're growing just like everybody else, right?
Yep. And I came in with the mindset it takes a year before you realize you have a business.
Yep.
It takes about 2 years before you feel like you're going to make it. And it takes about the 3rd year before you start getting the fruits of those labors.
What have been some of the obstacles or learning points that you've learned in the last year and a half?
I think first and foremost, what I shared before of identifying who my customer is. Right. It's not big corporate America where I came from or where I knew and had the connections and knew where to navigate it. So that was an eye opener. It also made me shift my approach to get out and hustle and get out and become a known entity.
Yep.
I think that was a big
one. Yep.
Big one. And you don't become a known entity by going out and saying, here's how I'm great and here's what I've done.
Here's my 7 rules and here's me. Me.
Nobody cares. What's the saying? Nobody cares what you know until they know how much you care.
Right.
And honestly, that was the biggest eye opener for me in leaving a very successful role in corporate America. I found out about my departure 5 days before the big one. Because I was going to be on PTO. I had an amazing boss that was like, I'm not going to call you. Well, I was in Nevada for a friend's wedding. And she's like, I'm not going to call you on that. So just sit down with her, and HR came in. They did the whole formal script. They said, here, we got to take your computer, all that stuff. So I had 5 days where I couldn't say a thing other than to my wife. And in those 5 days, my reflection was all about what I'd done. What I'd accomplished. What if I had done this different? What could this have been?
Kind of more of a growth maybe too, a little bit.
100%. And the amazing thing though was that was a Wednesday, and Monday was when the big laugh. I think it was something like 15% of the company or 20. It was big, and they'll be fine over time. They're making the adjustments and still support what they're doing in the product.
Absolutely.
But that Monday hit and the internal announcements went out. And I was blown away by the response of not about any accomplishment, not about any growth or anything I'd done.
Yep.
It was how I made people feel.
Oh, good.
And the person that, when I was their trainer, when they were a salesperson,
yep,
reaching out and saying, hey, thank you for modeling that I can have a successful career and a family.
Absolutely.
I never thought that was possible, and I saw you do it so beautifully. And
amazing.
Like, that's the impact
yep.
here. It's truly having that,
giving somebody a why, or giving someone
yes.
that feeling of you're making a difference. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So that's my driver.
Yeah.
That's what I'm learning.
Perfect. How can people get in touch with you if they're Small Business America or they want to know more about you? Where they can find you? Yeah,
you can find me on LinkedIn. Yep. You can find me at most networking things here in the cities because I love, about 12 years ago, read the book, The Go-Giver, Bob Burg.
Yep.
Came back to it about 2 years ago as I was anticipating a transition. I love connecting people and pulling them together. So that's why I'm out. I don't have capacity to take on a client right now, frankly, but I'm still out there because I want to connect people in the right places. I want to make sure I'm supporting. So I'm at the events. I'm on LinkedIn, Erik Haugen. Website, propcoachingandconsulting.com. Prop, P-R-O-P, like a propeller. I love boats. We can talk.
There we go. We'll talk
small
boats.
engines all day. So propcoachingandconsulting.com. You can email me at Erik, E-R-I-K, at propcoachingandconsulting.com.
Before we go, favorite athlete?
Well, Michael Jordan, favorite athlete of all time. You can't, for my era and what
Absolutely,
I grew up with.
No question, hands down. Kids always say, go on all the, is Michael Jordan better? I'm like, he's the GOAT. He's just nobody better. I'm sorry. No, there's nobody even close to being better. Not even close. I don't care what era you put him in. Nope, not hands
He will
down.
always dominate.
Yes. Yep.
So favorite athlete, definitely Michael Jordan. What was the second part of the question?
Best book? You probably just said it.
Oh, The Go-Giver has been one. Although lately I've been going through the whole Harry Potter series.
Okay.
I am not a big series book reader. It's more business impact, life, like narratives that I can leverage in life. But when my daughter got into Harry Potter and she got so excited about it, had nobody in the family to talk about it. And so I'm on book 5 now.
Awesome.
And there's some good leadership lessons in Harry Potter.
Yeah. You start pulling things out. I don't care if it's a children's book or a kid's movie. You're like, I could really take this in. Yes. What is your favorite activity with your family, do you think?
Anything on the water.
Boating,
Boating, go up north. We have a cabin, northern Minnesota, and just time to break free, turn off the screens. Our cabin doesn't have internet.
Shut
it down.
Get out there,
It's so powerful, and at the end of the day, that's what matters.
It is. You're not going to remember, hey, the time I spent in the office. It's, hey, remember that one time that we did something, the memory we made, no matter what it is, whether it's a road trip or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate having you on today. And if anybody wants to get a hold of you again, website,
propcoachingandconsulting.com.
There you go. And they can find you at networking events and everywhere else. Thank you, Erik.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This is wonderful.